Oh, I shot a wedding on Saturday. It's a Spanish. The entire service was in Spanish, like 97% of it. Held by a Korean priest.
Oh,
You want to talk
speaking
about
fluent Spanish?
Fluent Spanish. We had
That's awesome.
the entire ceremony, the sermon.
That's beautiful.
The entire what do you call it when you bless the sacraments, the body and the wine,
the Eucharist.
He did that entire thing with the singing in Spanish and just like dumbfounded. It's like when I was in Australia and I'm talking to Asian dudes with an Australian accent. I'm just like, whoa, I'm so confused right now.
There's a glitch in the programming.
They probably did the wedding in Spanish for him. They're like, hey, we got this Korean priest. He doesn't speak English. So we're going to have to do this thing in Spanish.
Oh, man.
Do you Melly this life?
Oh, man.
Oh, not Japanese. But still. Yeah.
And I think there's actually a lot of Asian people in South America. Like, I think there was an old coworker of mine. It was the same thing. Like, he was a Chinese guy, but he was Argentinian. Like, that's where he grew up. So he speaks perfect Spanish. And I mean, I guess it shouldn't have surprised me because I work for like a travel company. So there's a lot of, more culture and diversity because of all the different nationalities that were represented speaking with the international clients and stuff. But it was pretty amazing. And I was probably like annoying him because I was like, say this. And like, he's like, yeah, so what? Like, that's just how I normally talk. Say the dog is red. It's like, why? I would never put those words together.
In his language, it means like, suck my dick.
Yeah.
Or
you've insulted my family.
There we go. And his mouth keeps moving.
Yeah. Oh, like it's a freaking kung fu movie.
He insulted my family. Himself.
How's this happening? Yep.
So is that common that you shoot that you work a wedding in a different language? Like you can speak English to them, right? I mean, they can understand when it turns into an English part whenever you're doing the photography part, right?
Oh yeah, and I yell at people, and I tell my brides and grooms, I'm like, look, I'm gonna do everything I can to get the best images for you possible. So if that includes me yelling at people to get out of your way, so we can make time, I'm gonna yell at them, and I'm not gonna yell at them in Spanish because I can't yell at them in Spanish. I'm gonna yell at them in English in church. In church, I'm going to yell at you in church. Excuse me, ma'am, you need to get off the damn altar.
She has no idea what you're saying.
Ma'am. She's just looking at me like, ¿cómo?
Chorizo. Ma'am.
Ma'am. Andale. Yeah. But the thing is like all my Spanish is medical Spanish. So the only real questions I know how to ask people is like, do you take drugs for pain?
Do you have...
Senora!
What's going on? We have a special guest.
Special guest.
So for those who can't see the webcam, over my right shoulder, there's a little female with a Captain America mask on.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on here.
Awesome. Hi.
Look, Captain America.
All of a sudden she got shy. Now
Captain
she's
America,
shy.
they're looking at you.
Hello.
Wave. Oh, she's shy. She got shy.
Okay.
They can't see you from down there.
It's obviously Paul's fault, not my fault.
Yeah, she saw the darkie with the
They have a different house, but they have the same thing.
No, they don't have a different house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're just at the same house, but they are visiting?
No, see, one guy, that's Uncle Christian, he's in Virginia. And then this guy, Tio Paul, he's in California.
Oh, I gotta be the Spanish one now?
I know. Did you say Tio? What the heck?
So they all at a different house?
Yeah, they're at a different house.
But then...
Yeah, and I know it's kind of... I'll explain it to you when you're older than 5, but there's this thing, and we're able to talk and see each other.
Hi, Charlene. Good to see you.
See? She can. She's
Yeah,
up.
muscle
She
shirt?
can't hear me. She can't hear me, right?
No, she's up to. She's up to 2 pull-ups now
Oh,
on the pull-up
nice.
bar.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull-ups.
Well, 3 if
Three?
she cheats in between. She takes a
Oh, nice.
little breather.
How's her jujitsu going?
Going well. Yeah.
Yeah.
They play this game. The kids play this game called King of the Cage. She's very good at that. They just take basically. Ow, Charlene, stop doing that with the headphones. Stop. They take this. They make this little ring with like a 4-sided ring. It's basically a square of the belts, and they make a little border, and then they have to push and pull and try to get each other out of this cage, King of the Cage. So some they can do takedowns
sumo?
or.
Sumo.
I mean, yeah, basically.
Okay.
I mean, they
I remember beating you guys at that game until
Oh,
Rika
Christian, I see you.
Yeah.
Do you guys don't remember playing American Gladiators at my house?
I remember Double Dare at Rika's house.
Yeah, Double Dare is pretty
Double
cool.
Dare.
Oh, that's right.
With all
that's
the foam, like Nerfy toys and stuff.
I don't remember American Gladiators that much. Mostly Double Dare.
We played American Gladiators. It was the one where
Was it basically the giant Q-tips? Like the...
that was one of our events.
Yep.
And then the other event was the one where you had the football and you had to put it in the bucket. But there was someone between you and the bucket.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I remember
what is
someone.
that?
I don't remember if
Powerball
it
or
was.
something?
I can't remember if it was you or if it was either one of you guys that took a forearm shiver to the face, and
I don't remember
we someone's nose started bleeding because like straight up face palm.
Oh, no.
To the face. Like they do it on the show. They do it on the show.
It's good. It plays.
Yeah. Hey man, stop being a wuss.
It's like, hey, they also wear helmets on the show. Where are our helmets?
And they're professional athletes.
Yeah.
Can you please tell me what
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, American Ninja basically is now the new, I guess, kind of American Gladiators, right? Feats of strength. Just without the personalities as much. Like, the contestants have to be the personalities.
But here's the thing: is like
Close the door,
I
please.
feel like American Gladiators, by having American or Ninja Warrior is like us. It's like the solitaire version because there's no one.
Yeah.
There's no other athletes there to really push you. Because can you imagine doing American Ninja Warrior with someone trying to catch you
No, that was the, there was a thing.
side by side? I remember like a race.
No, not the side by side, but there was an event in American Gladiators where it was like the rings, like Olympic rings, a whole bunch of like a whole like matrix of Olympic rings, and yet the guy starts at one end and then he has to like go all the way across the studio to the other end where the goal is. But in the meantime, a gladiator is like chasing him and then eventually like can grab him and try to like unhook him from the rings in order to take him to the ground.
That's awesome. Like that's what
Yeah.
American Ninja Warrior should be. That it should just be American Gladiators again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Gina Carano was in American or in the new.
Oh, the
ones.
new one. That's right.
Yeah.
But that didn't last very long though.
Yeah, why did the new American Gladiators not last very long?
I think we were into that like
Because American Ninja Warrior is very
people
popular.
people shouldn't get hurt and da da da.
I think it was
I
we
watched
were
football.
writing. There was also a slew of things that were just nostalgia based.
They were like
and
remakes,
then,
right?
Yeah, and then like I remember there's a new Knight Rider. There's like a new version of Knight Rider.
Have you seen the new MacGyver? Ugh.
No.
The new Hawaii 5-0? Ugh.
So yeah. So it gave that sort of reaction, I guess. Except I think Hawaii 5-0 lasted.
It's still there.
It's still there.
But at the same time, it's, I don't know why they call it Hawaii 5-0. They should just call it Hawaiian Police Story. It's not even the same, whatever. Not like I was a big Hawaii 5-0 fan, but just, I don't know why they got to rehash stuff or just make something better and new.
Mostly it's all rehashed from something, right?
It's the nature of like, same thing with songs, like cover songs. It's like, do not release this shit unless you are contributing something, greatly better than the original, or at least like a much different spin on it. If it's your karaoke imitation version of
you
a
might
song,
as well just call this karaoke.
Yeah.
Like I love acoustic covers because, well, hey, it's acoustic. But my favorite thing is when you have someone who does something in acoustic and then it's covered and like you essentially just re-sang the song the exact same way.
Yeah. Covers and remakes. I know the nature of doing remakes or like sequels and stuff is at least from a movie studio's point of view. It's all about like trying to minimize risk.
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
no, I mean
yeah.
you want people to buy into something that they're familiar with. You know,
Right.
like they know they're getting the same kind of like that's like Hawaii Five-0 and MacGyver. You know, the guy's going to do the same kind of shit that the original MacGyver did. But
Yeah.
why not? You know, I don't know. It's that I don't even watch TV.
But it's everywhere though. It's not just TV. I mean, movies and music.
Definitely movies. Yeah.
They're redoing the damn Matrix. Like
Already?
Yeah.
Wait, let it breathe, dude.
I know. Like Keanu Reeves isn't even dead yet. Like, you know, like is he gonna come back as like Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
I wonder
How
what
crazy would that be?
I wonder what the statute is. Not that, like, it's what's the waiting period before you can redo something? Like, can we redo The Hangover right now? Even though it's like half a decade ago, you know?
How many times? Think about how many times they've redone Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're right. What about the Hulk?
Reboot.
The Hulk.
Oh yeah, like which Hulk do you like better, the Eric Bana or the Edward Norton or the what's the new dude's name? Mark Ruffalo or Ruffalo? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then what? You got Tobey Maguire. You have
Andrew Garfield.
And then now this new guy, the 19-year-old, the guy that looks like a teenager.
Yeah, it's like they're the free agents. You know, it's like there used to be loyalty with they're turning into like the Kevin Durant's of the the movie industry.
Well, and then also
they're just interchangeable.
The new Pirates is going to have replacements for Orlando Bloom and
Keira Knightley.
Homegirl. Yeah, it's gonna be same characters, just different people.
Wow.
Yeah.
They did that with Destiny's Child, where they just thought we wouldn't notice.
No, because that Destiny's Child just became Beyonce. They did that with Beyonce.
Fresh Prince and Aunt Viv.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Nikki, because Nikki was like a baby. And then the next season, it was the kid from Rugrats.
Like a 5-year-old kid or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nikki?
Yeah. Go ahead.
In the Fresh Prince, there was a different sibling. Like there was a storyline where Aunt Viv got pregnant again, like in the middle of the series. So it was Hillary. It was Hillary and Carlton and Ashley, and then there was a little kid, Nikki. You don't remember?
I don't remember Nikki.
Yeah,
this was a while ago.
Well, you remember Little Rugrats, right? I mean, I keep saying Rugrats. Little Rascals.
Little Rascals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
the kid that played Buckwheat, he was Nikki in the show.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. He wasn't a big storyline or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe they put him in to try to be like a Full House Michelle sort of thing going on. You know?
It was just something fresh, kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio when he was in Growing Pains, if you remember that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
Something to mix it up a little bit, but
yeah,
that Aunt Viv thing, controversy right there. I don't know anybody who goes for new Aunt Viv. Everybody's all about old Aunt Viv.
Well, old Aunt Viv actually had some bite to her, like some personality to her.
Yeah, some texture. Exactly.
Yeah, and then new Aunt Viv, I mean, to her credit, she was kind of, it's like, it's not something, she was like the Klay Thompson of the Fresh Prince. It's like,
she's a supporting character.
Yeah, there might have been some talent there, but the screen was full of talent, and she had no problem just kind of being a background actress.
Just happy to be part of this show. Happy to have the uniform.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But also, like, the character of new Aunt Viv was all about more like supporting Uncle Phil. Like, Uncle Phil became a bigger part of the show, I think.
Yeah.
And so they're like, all right,
I think that just was because of what the network saw whenever, like, from audience feedback when the show was already in production. But like the first Aunt Viv, it's like maybe they had made her promises that, okay, you're gonna have this much airtime, or you're gonna be like the main character in certain episodes or something. Yeah, because there were certain episodes that revolved around Aunt Viv before.
Yeah,
and then once they replaced her, they were, like the starring roles of the show were different. I mean, it was always Will, but then like Carlton and Uncle Phil. Yeah, they became like bigger stars. And then Jeffrey, even Jeffrey had some substance to him. Ashley, she kind of came into her own in a little while.
But not as much.
I do not remember the show in this much detail.
This is Alan. You're talking to Alan here, so we're gonna have to hang on.
Yeah, I watched the Fresh Prince a lot. I feel like
I watched every episode too as a kid, but I don't like. It's not. I'm not recalling like how deep the storylines were. I think I was watching it just more for the physical comedic value of Will Smith.
Just to laugh. Did you ever watch? Did you watch them when they were like new, or did you watch them in syndication?
I watched them all when they were new.
Yeah, and so did I. But then I also would spend waste hours watching them, watching reruns of them.
Oh, so no, I watched it one time through.
Okay, so that's why.
And I mean, how old were we when it first came out?
Yeah, that's true. See, that's how I felt about Married with Children. I felt like as good of a show as it was, I was kind of too young for the humor.
Oh, no, show. I watch that stuff now. Like, if it's on, I'll leave that on because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Now, like, watching it now, as an adult.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And the zingers that freaking, that Bundy puts out, oh, my God.
All of them. Yeah, all of them.
I'm like, how is, in today's world, that shit's so out of bounds. Out of bounds, but it's perfect. I mean, I'm like, it's so refreshing to see that was on. But then I'm sure, this is the kids get off my lawn moment is when it's like, I'm sure Archie Bunker and all those old school where, they were dropping ninjas and they were dropping, and it just was totally racist, but
right.
Like Al Bundy is Archie Bunker.
Yeah. And I think every generation has a show like that where they can relate to the show or certain characters of the show. But then there's parallel characters, I think, for the next generation. I think for the reasons I watched The Fresh Prince, there's another character like that in a different show that kind of takes the show.
The archetypes.
Yeah. The one that I connect these two shows is Friends. I used to watch Friends. I watched not so much as Fresh Prince, but I used to watch it. Pretty entertaining show. And then when I watched How I Met Your Mother, I felt like it was the same kind of tone, adult themes, relationships, funny. It was funny.
It was like an ensemble cast sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Really? Man, you're missing out. How I Met Your Mother's funny, man.
Like you're saying you couldn't last through it? Are you just saying you couldn't last through it? Like when you started watching, you're like, yeah? Or just because situationally you weren't in a place?
Physical time.
Sure.
How I Met Your Mother's on what? It's 8th, 9th season or something like that?
Well, it's done
finished now.
Yeah, it's finished now.
How many seasons did it run through?
I don't know. I mean, it's about the normal amount, I guess. However many that is,
or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it didn't get canceled. It ran its course.
Yeah.
For TV, I think once I got married and started doing my own business stuff, I really just stopped watching TV. So a lot of pop, unless it's internet based, when I can watch it on my own time. This was Netflix, stuff, wasn't it? I am not.
I mean, wasn't it a Netflix show where you can watch it on your own time?
I just got Netflix when we got the new house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, so did you guys buy a house or?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know you guys bought a house. All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we're over in Santa Rosa Valley. It's about 25 minutes north of where my parents lived in Simi.
North? You moved farther north away from LA?
Yeah, closer to the beach.
You're going to be in Santa Barbara soon, dude.
Wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind.
Well, you're farther from San Diego, though.
Yeah,
some memories in San Diego.
Yeah, we're running from the border, so.
Yeah. At a different age, we used to run to the border.
Yeah, into another border,
So, I know that this probably isn't gonna land anywhere, but in terms of shows that there's probably not any shows that I would really vouch for, for the new shows, except one show that I think is pretty accessible and it's on network TV, so it's freely available. and you can get on apps and stuff, is I've really enjoyed Fresh Off the Boat, if anybody's seen that show.
I've watched a couple episodes of that
Yeah.
and was dying. There was an episode where they referenced vests from Structure, and I'm like, I was that dude. I was that dude. I thought I would look so cool in a vest from fucking Structure, and then I would wear them, and I'm like, I'm a dork.
Yeah.
Oh, from the store for Structure.
Structure was my favorite store ever growing up. These were all the cool guys shop. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then it became Express Men, and I was like, done. But yeah, so it hits the perfect.
Express Men.
Like, I feel like that could be a good central theme for our show. It's like Asians, immigrant parents, the 90s, and hip hop and rap. Because the kid in the show, he's like all about the raps, stuff. So it was around the reference things like, man, Tupac died. Who killed Tupac? And Tupac and Biggie, really? And then and then later he watches some music video and he's like, I see it, and then he goes to his friends and then they're like, look, what shoes are he wearing right now? It's like, oh, those are like the Adidas, da 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 da. Those just came out like last week. That's right. So you know what that means, right? It's like, he's not really dead, because in the music video, like, he's wearing shoes that came out after he died and all that stuff. It's like, oh yeah. But and it does a good job of satirizing a lot of things, Asian culture especially, but in doing it in a
racist way.
Well, yeah, in a non-racist way. Like, it's got a fair amount of self-awareness to it too. So it doesn't take itself too seriously.
So it knows that
it
didn't come out like if this Fresh Off the Boat came out at the same time as Married with Children, maybe the dialogue would be pretty different, like, for the time.
Yeah, what it is they'll hit you with the same strength of a punchline, and then they'll layer it on top with the Band-Aid right after it. They'll layer it on top of this would never happen now, because of the fact that it's a nostalgic type of show, right? It's a show that takes place in the 90s, and yet it's recorded, 2016, 2017. It can play around with look, we wouldn't get away with this now, but we could get away with it in the 90s. So, yeah. But I would recommend that show. It's on ABC, and so you can watch it on the app or probably even online or something. So you can watch it on demand, so to speak. But I enjoy that show a lot. I would recommend it.
That show is isn't it based off a book?
Yeah.
Like, one of those kids wrote a book. It's kind of a true story. I mean, there's nothing really epic about
something
it.
wrong with Chris? What was that one with Chris Rock where he kind of had a story?
Everyone hates Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the same type of? It's written the same way.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about that show.
So it is based on a book also called Fresh Off the Boat, which I think I want to read because it's only basing some of the characters off the show, and it's only basing some of the characters from the book, but not a lot of the stories. They just take them in a whole different direction, because the book that it's based on is actually like a memoir, so it's much more true to life. Whereas this one, they just say what can we do with these personalities if we just bring them all together, and they'll come up with sort of not very true stories. You know what I mean?
So it's a stretch. It's a stretch of the truth.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in the beginning, the author of the book, who kind of lent his work to the show, he at first wasn't the most pleased with what came out, and then eventually came around to being like, you know what? I do appreciate this. It isn't what I wrote. It is its own thing, but I appreciate what they've done with with the characters. I mean, it must be hard to do. Think about George R.R. Martin lending the show, for his books, Game of Thrones, all those Game of Thrones books to HBO, and be like, all right, well, do what you got to do. And then also to the point where the storylines for the book and the show, there were things that happened in the show that actually weren't spoiled by the book because they didn't happen in the books. So they sort of, in some story beats, they strayed away from the books and then came back to the books.
But so there's actually quite a I know one of the big ones is they combined a couple characters. There's a few times where they took characters and they were like, all right, so in order to prevent us from having this gigantic story, to just kind of streamline it a little more, they combined a couple characters. So
like a
I know they
composite
did that.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a character that kind of represented two people within the book, but then they would kill them off anyways. So
Yeah. So
cut that
you got to
even
be careful,
faster.
like with that kind of stuff, right? Like, and it's interesting. I wonder how somebody who has the original work gives their blessing, yet at the same time doesn't doesn't just end up running that show themselves. So
Yeah, all those shows are like you're gonna have some differences of opinion as far as what's the best way to go about telling the story that they're trying to tell. Because you have like original screenplays, you have adapted screenplays, you have different producers, different directors, different editors. They're all trying to tell the story kind of their own way. And as a team, you would work together and create like something like in harmony instead of clash with one another and butt heads. And then what they come up with is only what somebody likes, and somebody else like just had to kind of concede and say, I wasn't really happy with this. I mean, it does happen.
So
but,
with Game of Thrones, I know from what I gathered was that, or what I heard about, is that the writers would take turns writing episodes. They'd alternate, and essentially they would just be like, I'm going to see if I can shock the other writer.
Oh.
Boom. And then on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, almost every episode is a different director.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and yet at the same time, you're right. Like, how does it not seem to still have a coherent, story? And it's not just
there has to be some consistency to each episode, right?
The book, the book is what keeps everything consistent. Is you have to stay true to the brand of the book.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. TV is a hard thing to I kind of keep track of. Because there's just too much these days, and I feel like, I'm missing more than I'll have a chance to ever, even if I had days, weeks off to like keep up with, So
the stuff
like
I
porn,
find myself watching though,
like, never gonna keep up with all the porn that comes out. I'm sorry,
I'm just kind of... but you might wait a couple days.
I've been trying. Trust me. There's a lot of material out there, So
no, the stuff like I'll watch on TV, or like I'll do a lot of YouTubing and stuff. I find that it's not so much what's super popular, but it's something that it relates to me, like specifically for whatever reason.
Question for you guys: I accidentally clicked on one of the little picture boxes in the lower corner. How do I get it to where it rotates to the talker again? Because now it's like stuck.
Just click on the person who it's on. Like, so if let's say Alan is the only one on screen, click on Alan again.
Oh, got it. Perfect.
There you go. You're welcome. Always here to help, Paul. So, let's see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What's the score to the game? Anybody else care about the game other than me?
I do, but I'm gonna wait for Zemo Pierto to finish.
I think the score is could care less and don't give a fuck.
Really?
Yeah. So why are you not following this? Hold on. Why do you not watch basketball?
No, basketball. I can't watch basketball anymore.
Why? What's going on?
Watch basketball. The refs. There was a couple games
There's been refs
where
in every basketball game ever since we've been watching it.
No, I know.
It would be great if they took the refs out of the game.
I really stopped watching basketball when I noticed how much the refs control the finals.
They control everything, though.
But hold on a second.
As they shouldn't. They shouldn't control everything. It should be the players.
As they always have. Do you think it just?
And that's why I don't watch basketball anymore, because I realize how much of the game is literally just decided by the refs.
What are the reasons that you used to watch? Because I think, like, for me, the reason that I have watched sports is because I feel like it's like the intent in my mind is it's supposed to show like what a human being is capable of. Like when they,
here's the thing with athletic contests. They're great and all, but I feel like with a lot of team sports, when calls are close, I don't like the fact that we don't use instant replay for everything. Fair enough.
You think they should?
Yeah.
It slows the pace of the game.
We have the technology, but get it right then.
Yeah, but you'll have like breaks in the game where the pace will throw off the appeal of the game.
But here's the thing,
and also the pace, the change of the pace of the game will like affect the game itself. Like so we're having off the air, right? Paul and I were playing this game called Ascension. Board game, and typically when we play, it's a online game, so you play and then you just get notified from the phone when it's your turn. But sometimes I'm busy, I got stuff I got to do, so sometimes I will a game could take actually like a couple days to play because of the downtime between the back and forth of the turns.
Okay, but earlier a week. Remember, there were times where like we wouldn't finish the game for a week just because you got busy, I got busy, and
so it's a bit like chess where it's not simultaneous play. It's like either your turn or the other person's turn.
Correct. Right. And so today, because like, Paul was available and I was just like slacking off. So I decided like, hey, I'm going to see if Paul wants to like just not like do other shit for a while. And like we would just stay on the phone and play the game. Right. Mm-hmm. And he freaking demolished me. But like outside the point, we played a game probably in about 15 minutes.
Not even.
Okay. Yeah. And it would tip a game that could take, maybe 3 days up to a week even. And Paul, you admitted that like usually when you play a game straight up like that, you're a much more effective player, right? Because you can string together a coherent like chain of thoughts that lead to an overall strategy. So if we stretch that out, like I think the reason why we want to watch professional sports and things like, the NBA being one of them, is because we want to see the game played at its highest level. And if we're going to do that, stopping the game that many times could actually affect the product in that very way because you're not getting the team.
No, here's the thing. Yeah. I agree with you guys. I agree.
Okay.
But at the same time, I feel like refs get it wrong enough to the point where it contributes to outcomes that
so what's
are
the
not
answer,
true.
Then? I mean, juries get verdicts wrong, but
and again, I agree with you. I agree with you. There's got to be a better way, right?
Yeah.
But for me, like it irritates me to watch games get blown or miscalled to the point where someone gets handed a W that shouldn't have got the W, or it affects the game so much that it changes a series, or it changed.
I'm gonna blame actually like advances in technology to like supporting your case, because the game is so detailed and so accessible and so in your face that you feel like you have higher authority than you would normally have to make the calls or to like say that there are missed calls, like, because you have all the access that you think they should have with the slow-mo replays and the commentating and the talking heads like right at your fingertips.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I'm agreeing with you. I'm totally agreeing with you guys. I'm agreeing with you guys. Yeah, no, and the thing is like being able to watch that and know that something got blown. I don't want to watch it. And here's the thing.
That's a good point. I mean,
and here's another thing is I feel like in the NBA, and just in my experience, maybe it's just because I watched a lot more NBA, is that they get the calls wrong way more often than any other. Like I can watch football. They blow calls, but it's not as often as freaking. I don't feel it's as often as basketball. But then again,
I don't know. I don't know if I agree, because I think a lot of the blown calls in football are away from the ball. Like they're not gonna emphasize the blown calls, I feel like, in football as much as they do in the NBA. Because in the NBA, I feel like there's 10 guys on the court in NBA and there's 22 on the field in football, right? So the camera, I know there's more refs, but the camera, what we see on TV, and even if we're in the game, if we're there and in the arena, what we see with our eyes, you're only looking at one part of the play, and there's so much other stuff that's going on that there might be blown calls that you never even knew was a blown call. Where in the NBA, they're gonna go back and replay it, and with the slow motion and the zoom in and the high definition, you're like, oh, obviously it was a blown call. Well, yeah, that's because if you have the benefit of like hindsight and all the technology that can prove it was a blown call. I feel the same way about real quick. I feel the same way about pitching in baseball. Like they have the little strike zone now, huh?
I agree with you. It's subjective because it depends on the umpire.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you guys.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it got so
I can
frustrating
see
for me that I
ahead.
have a hard time watching.
Yeah, and I could see that. I could see that. Like, I think if I could try to boil down Paul's point to try to put myself more in his shoes. So, the court, the crowd, the environment, and the refs are really like, in my opinion, they're all like all part of the field, basically. And the players have to adjust to the conditions that they have to play under. And so imagine like playing a basketball game on like not a hardwood surface and like the court was just all freaking tore up. Like they're just playing in a park, like they're playing at like a Rucker Park type, street ball type place where the condition wasn't even kept good. Like the court was dusty and shit like that, right?
The rims were all bent or whatever, right?
Yeah. So like, and there's going to be a worst part of the game, no matter what. And right now, it just seems like for Paul, and I maybe for me too, the worst part of the conditions are the refs. It's not the ball, it's not the shoes, it's not the rims, it's not the crowd.
They're the one inconsistency that the league is unable to try to make uniform.
And they're lower. They're much lower than the rest of the other things too. So they're a big. They stick out.
So, for example, one sport where I think I have it right. However, I understand it's probably boring for a lot of people, but it's tennis. They have instant replay on the court. You can challenge a call, and the call can be reversed on the spot. And I appreciate that because I'm like they're doing what they can to get it right on the spot. Now I know the pacing is definitely different, different sport.
I can see what you're saying. I think that the NBA and tennis are both trying to make an effort to try to get it right because the NBA they have these rules where they use the instant replay, and then they have rules where they favor more of the pace of the play. Tennis also does the same thing. You can't just appeal every single call. Like you can't. No, you can't. In tennis,
I thought there were a limited number of challenges, kind of like football, how you have that red flag, and you have 2 challenges. And I think it's a different number for tennis, but
and then also if like a line, what do they call it in tennis? Line judge or something. If somebody gets the call wrong, they automatically favor like the other player.
Have you seen a replay in tennis?
Yeah. It shows the bounce and it shows like the little oval and then it zooms in on the line and then it says in or out or whatever, right? But okay, so let's say
it's pretty definitive.
No, okay, I mean the technology, the way they use it is, but the result is not. Because let's say me and you were playing tennis, right? You hit a ball, they call it out, right? I'm gonna stop playing. If you challenge it and it's in, then they're gonna give you the point. Well, you might not have got the point if I would have returned the ball. See what I'm saying? Right. The only reason I stopped playing was because if the line just called it out, they're gonna give you all these points because you keep challenging the call, and like and I don't have any control over it because the only reason I stopped play is because the line judge called the ball out.
Well, when I played tennis, I played through. I always played through. Yeah, I never pull off a ball.
So when the line judge calls it out, so hear me out. If you hit the ball to me. The line just calls it out. I return it. The play still stops because the line judge stopped the play. We can't just ignore the line judge.
Right.
Okay. So then you challenge it. You're like, no, it was in, and then now you get the point, even though I returned it.
No, I don't think that's. So if you hit the ball to me, and is the ball so? In reality, is the ball in or out?
In.
It's in,
and they called it out. Yeah.
Okay, so then you challenge it.
No, well,
if anybody, you would challenge it, not me.
If they called it out and you hit the ball in,
why would I challenge a point that I'm gonna get?
No, you're not gonna get it if they called it out. If you hit the ball and they called it out, then you would lose the point. Right? You follow me? Let's get some rackets. Let's simulate that. All right, so let's say I you the ball to you, right? Me, Alan, serves the ball to you, Paul. You return it back to me, right? Out. They call it out. So you, Paul, the line just says you hit the ball out.
Okay. And let's say, Alan, for the sake of argument, you hit the ball back to Paul
I hit the ball back to you anyway, right? But the point's over because the line judge said something, right? Somebody sneezed, right? Like in tennis, you can't move a hair. So you being the returner, like, no, I think it was in. I think the line judge got it wrong. So you challenge the point. It was actually in. The line judge got it wrong. They would give you a point, even though I was capable of returning the ball.
And you return the ball.
Yeah, and I successfully returned the ball.
I'm trying to think if that's a do-over in tennis.
Not do-overs.
No, they have. They have lets.
Lets is a serve. It's a serve though. They don't do over points. Like a match point, they're just gonna keep doing it over.
So if the line judge gets it wrong, in favor of the person, like, and it was actually in, like that's like a really gross error. Like if you think about that actually happening.
No, that's an error. That's just an error. It's not.
No, you're right. But if you're the line judge and you can't judge that, something's really wrong. Wait, hold on. And I'm going to tell you that I'm going to tell you the consistency on tennis refs versus the consistency on NBA refs. You know, I have the advantage on that, like, because tennis doesn't get that wrong that often.
Like, I mean, I'll agree with the first part of that, but I have a reason. It's because there's not as many moving parts. There's two people and there's a ball. The refs. Look at the proportion, like the ratio of line judges and umpires to players, to athletes, to moving parts. Like in tennis, there's two players and there's a ball. And how many people are watching? Like a dozen.
So you got a head judge, you got line judges on each side, and you got two line judges on each side for each player.
So that's 5.
That's 4 on each side.
What about the ones
and the head?
What about the ones
so you have 9 judges for 2 players or 4 players?
Okay, so now what about basketball?
You have 3.
For how many players?
10.
Exactly.
So you're reinforcing my point.
What do you talk? What did you
like? That's where it's wrong. Like
that's why it's a problem.
That's what I don't like. I don't like that it's inconsistent. There should be 7 refs.
No, in that case, there should be like 30.
Okay, fine. There should be 30 refs. Have there be 30 refs? But guess what? With 30 refs, But here's the thing. So you're telling me you would rather, instead of having a more consistently called game, you favor the pace of the game?
Well, I
don't feel that way. Like that, I don't buy that.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, I favor the type of game it is, and I allow, like, I can account for the judgment errors, like the referee errors, because of the type of game it is. There's body contact. There's defense. There's different things that they look for. There's movement without the ball. Like in tennis, there's much less to look for.
I agree with you, man. I do. I agree with you. Yeah. I just don't feel the same way. Like like that doesn't bother you where it bothers me.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it bothers me to the point where I can't watch it. Like it bothers me that there's that much inconsistency. Like depending on which refs you get, you have like they control the pace of the game, obviously. But it's like you can also control free throws. You can control. There's so much that the refs control that I feel like it's. And one thing that really bugs me too is that it's inconsistent on both sides. Like you can definitely see when a ref is favoring another team, or when the refs are favoring a team, and that drives me fucking crazy.
Yep.
Interesting.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with you, but I think that I could see like why that would drive you nuts if that is the case. That would definitely drive me nuts if that was the case. I think there are some measures that are used to try to keep the game called evenly on both sides, even if it's inconsistent on both sides. But the fact that we're talking about inconsistencies, I think, is a issue for you. It's a design problem that needs to be inspected and looked at. And right now, I guess technology is one such way to address it. But I think to Alan's point, perhaps, like technology is probably not going to be the only way. I think to say, oh well, let's just replay everything is a solution.
Okay, look,
it's probably
so
not
replaying
the
everything
answer.
Is probably not the answer, right?
Yeah.
I agree. However, like I think football has it a lot better with like, hey, you get 2 challenges per half. right? And if you blow it, then you burn a timeout, which is important in football.
So
right?
I think
that's been curbed in that sport. Like, so you better be careful with what you challenge, because if you get it wrong, it could possibly affect you down the road, right? With tennis, there's not too much of. I mean, it's either in or it's out. Yeah. You stop playing. Like, that's the thing. You keep playing. Right. Now, if the line judge gets it wrong, they get it wrong. But I don't see that very often.
That's why they have replays, though, is because it does happen. And apparently, without the replays, it used to affect the outcome, right?
No, you're right. Again, but again, we have 9 people on the court making sure the game goes right versus 3. 9-2 versus 3-10.
Cool. All right, I like it. So our facts are undisputed. But let me. So go ahead, Christian. I wanted to.
So I was thinking.
Else, but...
Yeah. So I was thinking, because I think the part you were getting at when you were saying what would you do, Paul? I think that's a more compelling question. Let's put Paul in the commissioner's chair and say, Commissioner Paul, how do you get spectator Paul to get back to watching basketball again?
Well, see, at that point, the league, whatever league I'm running, I have to find out. So for instance, for example, with the NFL, they're trying to make the game more offensive. They want to put more points on the board. They're obviously trying to speed the game up. And I think that's where the penalties for the timeouts came from. Because, I mean, yes, we'd love to be able to challenge it all the time. But
you're talking about for football now? Football?
Yeah, for football. Okay. Yeah, for football. I don't know what basketball could do. And that's the thing. I'm not paid to know. I just know how it affects me emotionally. Don't get me wrong, I love a good basketball game, but I also feel like when I watch, so much of my basketball experience is affected by inconsistent refs.
What do you think about golf? The opposite problem with golf, right? The pace is terrible as far as TV viewership.
Right.
But they get it right almost every time. I mean, the players are calling penalties on themselves, for Christ's sake.
No, I know, but
different sport. So do you prefer? Is golf more appealing to you as a spectator than basketball or football?
To be honest with you, I'd rather watch golf than basketball.
Wow. I mean, I
do watch. Here's the thing. I watch golf with my dad.
Yeah, and I'm not.
Me and my dad watch golf together. Even women's golf. You watch women's golf. Do you watch WNBA?
Dude, I've listened to golf on the radio before. So top that.
Why are you guys? Wait. Why are you guys
report that the player hit the ball?
They gotta bring
close to the hole, but not quite in the hole.
They gotta bring a former Univision soccer announcer into a golf match.
No, I've heard this one. This wasn't on the radio, but I was just watching it on TV, right? And there was this putt. They saw this putt, and it lipped out of the hole, right? It almost went in, but it curled around and it lipped out. And the announcer was they did it in slow motion, and the announcer was like, "Man, look at that thing lip! Oh my goodness! It was like the X Games riding around in there." I'm like, dude, you just compared golf to the X Games.
So exciting.
Here was an announcer that misses calling.
Yeah.
So, where? So here's nothing.
Let's keep going down the line. How
about, so jujitsu.
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna go with staring contest or something. No, let's go jiu-jitsu.
Flinch. No, wait. Flinching's in the rules? I thought it was just the eyes.
Replay.
No, so say for instance with jiu-jitsu. I don't know if you've been to a competition yet.
No, not live. I've seen them on TV, but YouTube.
Okay,
I've seen YouTube ones on TV and stuff.
So the thing is you're gonna see that with gi jiu-jitsu that and same with I can compare this to also wrestling and judo. In jiu-jitsu. There's times where you get points for securing certain positions. So if I take you down, it's worth so many points.
Yeah.
If I pass your guard, it's so many points, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's the ref's responsibility to call out the points.
Yeah.
However, how long that player holds that position is subjective to the ref. that drives me nuts too.
Uh-huh.
Like I can't watch competitive jiu-jitsu sometimes. The only time I only like watching competitive jiu-jitsu when it's submission only, because I watch refs in jiu-jitsu get it wrong, or I feel like it's wrong.
Yeah.
Which I shouldn't say that they get it wrong.
Yeah.
Look,
maybe you're wrong and they just agreed to.
Exactly. And at the same time, like I'll watch one match, watch someone do something, one ref will call it one way and another ref will call it another.
Yeah.
See, so
I feel
that
like
drives
as a
me nuts
competitor,
too.
that would drive you more nuts than as a spectator. Like if you're a competitor and you're like, "What? That was fine like 2 fights ago or 2 matches ago." And now it's not,
again, I can't watch point jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I only watch no submission or submission only.
Yeah.
Because it's too subjective. It's like I don't like that.
See, it sounds to me like you're putting a lot of stock into the wins and losses. Like and it's not a wrong thing, and maybe it's the right thing and I'm getting it wrong, but it seems like for competitive events, for you, the outcome is like the most important thing. Where for me, like the journey can be as enjoyable as the destination.
Well, so to argue that point, like, so a jiu-jitsu guy or a basketball guy, they practice their sport in and out and in and out, not for the like they're trying to win the game.
Yeah.
And if their talent and their practice and their time gets dissolved because a fucking ref got it wrong, pisses me off, because to me that's not fair.
Yeah, but for me that's beyond the athlete's control. And that's my opinion. So I think
I agree.
So let me finish. I think that the work and the execution of the work speaks for itself. And to me, because I'm my own judge of whether or not the ref got it wrong, like if I think that or an athlete or a competitor, if I think that they did everything they could to do everything right, then that's enough. I mean, like I give credit to
tell that to the sponsors.
Well,
tell that to the shoe. Tell that to the guys that's trying to get a shoe deal.
Well, hold on a second. Wait. You could. I'm gonna kind of flip the script and let's say take it a little bit to Alan's thing, and just I've been brewing in my head like this as a design problem, right? So what if, for example, we saw the performances of these teams, but at the end of the day, we decided who won, like freaking American Idol style. Like everybody call in and decide who won this game. It's dumb, right? Hold on a second. I'm bringing it up because it's a way. What are we doing? We're trying to eliminate the thing that you hate, which is
now introduce you to the President of the United States.
So the reason why I'm bringing up a preposterous idea is because it's like, well, it's one way to remove the thing that you hate, which is a ref deciding the game. So I'm like, well, what if a ref doesn't decide the game? How can we ensure that a ref doesn't decide the game? You make it so that something else decides the game at that point. So that's why
should be the players in basketball or football. The players completing their objective, which is to score points via touchdown, field goal, or safety, right?
Under the supervision of refs.
No, you're right.
That is part of it.
Yeah,
that is. Okay.
I get.
The refs, however fallible they are, they're a necessary part of making sure that the points are tallied correctly.
But I know football brings this up. Wait,
Paul, now we're on the same page. I feel like now we're finally on the same page. They're supposed to get it right, and they don't. That's it.
So I think
basketball because they're supposed to get it right, but they don't. So I watch a UFC match. When I watch a UFC, it's pretty black and white. Someone gets knocked the fuck out. Someone gets submitted, or there's a judge's call. Judge's calls get it right. I would say maybe 75% of the time. Okay, but again, I feel like as a player or as a competitor, don't let it get to the judges. Then finish the fight, right? However, there are times.
Hold on. That's what basketball players say too, or like during a close loss or usually a close loss, when they say like, so how do you feel about, this kind of loss, and what do you think about that call from the ref? usually a coach their line that they usually says, well, usually it was a handful of plays here, there, and really we shouldn't have let the game get to that point where the ref decided the game. So the refs themselves are a factor of the game that you have to actually practice for. Like, if as much as you're doing your drills and your shots and your X's and O's for the opponent, you should probably also know, like, oh, these people are reffing the game. Do your homework not just on the players you're playing against, but the refs that are going to be calling the game. Like football, they do this all the time. Like, I remember Teddy Bruschi and the guys from like the New England Patriots talking about, like, oh yeah, like we have to get a sense of who the refs are, how they're calling, because holding apparently happens on every play. We need to know when they're calling it versus when they're not calling it, and then we have to adjust our defense accordingly. So it is a part of the game. It's probably not a part of the game that the spectators are huge fans of, like you said, to your point. So then it just becomes a matter of, well, do we really want to eliminate this from the game? Because something that can be a factor that is not really like part of testing the skill of the players. Like another thing that could affect the game but not test the skill of the players is home court advantage. Like, the crowd noise probably to some degree affects the visiting team. Is that correct? So, like, if we're really testing the skill of the players, do they have to factor in that, like, there's gonna be that they're on the road? Or should we change the design of the game? So I'll propose another ridiculous idea, which is everybody just watches the game at home or in a bar somewhere, and there's no actual crowd.
Or you have or all games happen in a neutral stadium, like not their own home stadium.
Exactly.
No. Here's the thing. I agree with you that, or I'll even say with home field advantage. Yeah, it's an advantage, right? Mm-hmm. But that, to me, going through that adversity will show a greater team. Right? So, because you'll never have two even teams. There's no such thing as a fair fight or a fair sport. Everybody has their advantages, and you play to your advantages, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like the refs should be an advantage. They're supposed to be an authority that gets things right. At least, like, that's their job, is to call it right. So to make sure the rules are followed. However, when I see the rules being followed inconsistently, you shouldn't be part of the game.
Do you think?
And to fix that, I don't know what to do. That's not my job.
Is part of your knock on referees is part of it that you think that there's some intent in getting it wrong, or do you think that they're doing the best job they can?
I've seen. There's definitely games where I'm like, this ref is fucking throwing this shit. Like.
Okay.
This ref has it out for these. Like,
it's like, my question was like as far as they're turning you off to the game, like you personally, is it more that you don't trust the refs, like that you don't trust what the refs are trying to do, or is it more you don't trust the ability of the refs, or do you think this is the same thing?
Both.
It's not one more than the other.
I would say 80% of the refs are doing everything they can, but then there's definitely times where I'm like, this ref just has it out for this team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not fair.
Okay, see,
like, you can't, like, how do you, like?
Yeah, so that thing with the ref having it out for a team, I feel like, to Christian's point, that's something that is in a weird way, it's more consistent. Like, the intent of that ref is more consistent. Other obstacle you have to battle against. And then with the other case, with the 80% of just a crapshoot, that's more of a case of, like, we should have never let the game get this close. Because even though they're trying to do the right thing, that means it's on us. It's like, we're responsible. We're accountable for executing things all game long to get to the point where we gave control of this game to this ref. So I think for both cases, unless you can't differentiate between the two, which it sounds like you can, I think for both cases, there's like a counter to how the game can be played, and you can still kind of even the playing field is about as much as you can.
Let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. Have you ever refereed a basketball game?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Have you? I don't think anybody has, right?
I have. I was a professional referee for kids.
Cool.
That was my first job as a teenager, 15 years old.
Awesome.
I called from first grade.
The baggage is deep then.
Yeah, no. And here's the thing. I will tell you, when another ref I was reffing with got it wrong, I would reverse their calls.
What if you just disagree with them?
Because I'm like, hey, you got it wrong, man.
Well, that one's a hard one because there is no
I could see it. And then I would show them what happened.
Well, how do you show them?
And then the ref would be like, oh, you got it right.
How do you show them? Because there's no replay. Or there's some video or something?
I would just physically show them. No, physically show them. I was from your angle, you can't see what I'm seeing. And I there's a lot of times where I'm like, yo, I'm right in front of this. I didn't see that.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show me what you saw?
Right. So they have a discussion.
We have a discussion.
Would they ever do
we get the play right?
Would they ever do it the opposite way? Like, if you would get a call wrong, then somebody would come and tell you.
Oh, I never got it wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
I reversed a ton of calls, but nobody ever reversed my calls. I don't know. I think it's just my personality.
I reversed probably maybe 2 or 3 calls in the entire summer I was working there.
The entire 2 weeks.
This is unprecedented.
That 2 weeks really changed my opinion of professional basketball as a 35-year-old, though.
And so and the thing is, there's only 2 of us. There's only 2 of us for 10 kids.
Yeah, and sometimes only one. I mean, from what the basketball I used to watch, sometimes the other ref's a no-show, and so it's just one ref trying to call this game by himself. I've seen it before. There's a freshman high school basketball game or something where the other ref's a no-show, and now this guy's just, okay, well, the game's got to start, and they're trying to get another ref in, a proxy or something. But until then, tip-off's got to happen. So I've seen plays like that too, where the ref's doing the best they can. And
that's just unprofessional. That's an unprofessional ref.
Oh, the one that didn't show up?
The one that didn't show up.
Yeah. So my question was, so the two, you reverse about 2 or 3 calls, right? And then I'm gonna guess that maybe 2 or 3 calls were you got wrong and somebody reversed them on you, or because do you think?
No, but here's the thing: that's not vindictive. Our concern is just getting it right.
Yeah, and see, that's my point. So my point is the objective of that league was just to maintain the integrity of the sport. Where the objective of professional sports, it has to be a business first, and
which is wrong.
That's the hard truth, though. Otherwise, it goes extinct.
That's why I don't watch it, and that's why I don't watch it.
Well, that's true with tennis also, and golf, and all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I just feel like that basketball gets it so inconsistent that it's difficult to watch.
Yeah. Huh. I guess I can see the necessity for the business side of it.
It's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look, basketball, I love watching the ESPN stuff. I don't even get invested in the wins or losses. I could care less now because I know how much of we shouldn't have let it go to the refs. How many fucking times do you hear that when a player says that? How many in a night when there's 4 basketball games on? How many of those games go, we shouldn't have let it go to the refs? Yeah, we have to be a better team for that. Fuck that. The fucking refs should get it right. That's their job.
Would you ever stop watching a sport because the athletes got it wrong? Like, damn it, Pacquiao, I ain't watching boxing no more because you got knocked out.
Oh, that's the reason I stopped watching boxing for a while.
No, I mean, you understand the question though? Like, is it just the refs that are not allowed to get things wrong?
Well, here's the thing: is if the players are getting it wrong, then they're just ineffective and they lose their game.
It's like a domino effect.
What?
It's like a domino effect. Like,
I don't know why I put my head closer to the screen, like I'm trying to hear you. What? Say that again? What?
It's like you're in a different state. Here, feel this right quick. Feel this.
This is infected. What was the question again?
So the question was, is it only the refs that are not allowed to get it wrong?
So, you're talking about players complaining about calls or something like that?
Or just executing wrong. I mean, the refs getting it wrong, turn you off to the whole sport, right? Like, you held the whole sport, you held them accountable for what the refs were doing wrong.
Yeah, so I think And I think that's the point of the game. The whole point of the game is to see which team gets it wrong less.
Yeah. So
Right?
that was the question was, would you ever? Is there some athlete or, some competitor that could get something so wrong that it would turn you off to the whole sport?
Wait. There is a way. I think that if strategically it's better for a team to not put their best out there for the sake of the bigger game, then that would turn me off to the sport.
Tanking. Like the Lakers tanking their entire season to pick up a freaking pick is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, so that would be
bullshit.
Right? Yes, fucking bullshit. Got it. So, so it's stuff like that, or even when like the Spurs or something, they don't, they got to rest their guys during some part of the season. So
here's my thing. I don't knock that because the bigger game is to win. Is to win later and more.
But the tanking is the same thing. Tanking, the goal of the game is to win in later seasons and more.
Yes.
So the bigger game?
Yes. Are you looking at each season as like?
I'm looking at the season. I just want who's gonna win the championship?
Do you ever play ownership mode, like franchise mode in Madden?
I do.
That's why. Why not just?
So
play
you're trying to
season?
get a legacy. Yeah. So you want the legacy, don't you?
No,
Not
I need to win
one season.
I'm concentrating on that season now. I only play that shit 1 year at a time.
I think Alan. I don't think he knows that there's a season mode. There's just franchise. Yeah, I played for one season and then I reset and I start a new franchise.
Exactly.
And everything just starts over again.
Yeah.
Wait, there's more after the season's over? There's more shit you can do? Yeah, it's tough. So in board game terms, we call that the metagame, and metagaming, yeah, it's frowned upon, and in a lot of ways it sucks. But I understand it is a thing.
It's also like looking at a certain side of the coin, and not the other side. I mean, like my example of the tanking thing is Tim Duncan. Like I think the Spurs got Tim Duncan, and then 5 rings later, they probably would have done it again.
They tanked in order to get Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
The Lakers are doing that now.
Oh, it hasn't happened yet. So if it gets them,
it's
like 5.
Happening.
Well, what I mean is the result. Like
to me, honestly, the tanking is it's too risky because you put a season at jeopardy.
Well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, it's their loss. I feel like we as fans
and here's the thing, it's not just their loss. Like you said, the fans lose out, and then you watch a team lose out. Like the risk, I feel like that risk, it's too risky.
If there's a systemic pattern of tanking being known as an effective strategy, I doubt that is a good business move for the NBA
and
or any league.
No,
so when you were asking, that was to Alan's original question.
Exactly. When Alan, there is a business aspect, and guess what? Tanking is not exactly the best way to maintain your business. That's like
for the short term.
I'm going to eat all of the donuts at my donut shop. Like it's.
Well, it's kind of
that was a horrible analogy. I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'm just hungry. I can see the lights going down, and it's dinner time for him.
Tiana actually left. She went to go get dinner without me.
Nice.
Yeah, she's like, I'm hungry now, so if you're gonna go podcast, I'm gonna go eat. I'm like, well.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate taking one for the team.
So we're gonna make it worth your while, then we're gonna argue for a while. So,
I thought you said you were gonna send me a pizza.
No, so here's
Papa John's online.
We have the technology.
I know.
Get you a pizza.
Yeah, I'll send you my address.
Want a pizza? I'll get you a pizza.
I'll take a pizza.
All right, I'll give you a pizza. You get a pizza.
No problem. Here, I'll put my address in the freaking message so that way I don't give it to everybody on the internet.
All right.
There you go.
I'll just read it to everybody.
Oh my
You're about to
god.
get a whole bunch more than pizza, dude.
Oh my god, that would be so fucking horrific.